What's up, ladies and gents? We're back in the garage, this time with an upgrade for the X3. Let me show you what I got. This is what's known in my world as a distraction. When I should be finishing this motor up, which I'm getting close, these showed up, along with some other things, but that's part of that secret that I told you had to stay tuned for. There's part of it. Anyway, got some 32, 10, 14 BFG KM3 mud terrains. So we're going to slap these on the old X3 and get her ready for our trip to the Cinders this coming weekend. If you've never been to the Cinders and you're in the Arizona area, I highly recommend you check it out. If you haven't been to the Cinders and you're in Arizona, there's something wrong with you. Then again, if you live in Arizona and you've never been to the Grand Canyon, there's probably something wrong with you too. I've never been to the Grand Canyon. So anyway, stay tuned. We'll get this thing up in the air, get the wheels and tires off, break them down. I'll show you a little bit of the process if you're interested. If not, skip it. Anyway, here we go. Alright, so we got the car up in the air. Wheels and tires are off, they're aired down. I'm just going to buzz all these bolts out of the bead locks, and then we'll move over to our manual tire changer and start breaking them down. We're going from these Taiwanese Maxxis Bighorns to some Mexican BFGs. How about that? Alright, so when I remove these bolts, I'm not going to just go all the way around the circle. I don't want to run the risk of bending the bead lock ring, so I'm going to do a little bit of a crisscross pattern. There's no specific pattern that you really have to do, but just to loosen it up evenly is the idea. My hands are getting full. Done. So one of the biggest complaints I hear from people with the factory bead locks, or any bead locks for that matter, is that they always leak. And they will if you don't maintain them. These are not maintenance free. The key to keeping your bead locks from leaking air is keeping them clean. So anytime I'm changing the tires, or if I have one that's leaking, pull the ring off, wipe it off, make sure there's no dirt and dust. You'd be surprised how little bit of debris can make it leak. Clean those up. And then the same thing with the mating surface on the rim. You can see how just from pulling the tire off, there's dust in here. You gotta get all that stuff off of there before you mount your tires back up. Even this little dirt and sand and stuff right here on the outside of this bead, that'll cause it to leak. I've had pretty good luck with mine. Of course, I run higher air pressure too, so that helps. So I'll get these cleaned up after I get the tires off, and then we'll start putting the new ones on. So here we got our manual tire changer. This one is a Harbor Freight model. You can pick these up 40 or 50 bucks, I think. I don't even know. But all I use this for is breaking the bead. I do the rest by hand with tire bars. This is supposed to be a setup where you can put your wheel up here. You use this little sleeve and you lock the wheel in place, put the bar in there. It's too much. So I just use the bead breaker and do the rest by hand. I will say, when you go to set your wheels on here, if you like your wheels, throw a rag down on top of this guy right here, otherwise it's going to scratch up your rims. Alright, so we'll put the rim on here. We're just trying to break the bead. Set that on there. Whatever comes down. We want this right on the edge of the rim. Stick our bar in here. And if you've got the shop space, you can bolt this to the floor. I don't, so I don't. Alright, so it's starting to go, so now I'm just going to rotate the tire. You don't want to try and push too much off at once. It won't work. Yep, we're there. All right, we got the beads broken on the back side of all of these. With any luck, I should be able to just pop this out of here. Just like that. And then you sell these on Craigslist. There is a much easier way to have tires mounted, is to pay somebody else to do it. But I can't physically do that. So it's a good idea while you got your wheels and tires off to take a look at your brake pads, among other things. Just look right down in here, you can see how much pad thickness you got left. I don't know if y'all can see that. These are good to go. Same thing with the rears. Yeah, I'm satisfied with that. Besides, this thing's not for stopping, it's for going. The other thing you want to look at is your toe link on the rear. These have a tendency to get loose and they waller out the holes in the spindle. So double check that, make sure that stuff's tight. That one's tight. I'd say we're good. Alright, rims are cleaned up. Next step is grab your tires and check them to make sure that they are or aren't directional. These ones are not. If they are directional, whatever tires you buy, it'll have some type of arrow or it'll have something that says rotation on it. If you've got directional tires, obviously you need to pay attention to that and make sure you don't mount them all the same way. You want to make sure you've got left side and a right side mounted up. So when we do this, soap and water is your best friend. So we're going to soap up the bead on both sides of the tire, inside and out. And then we're also going to soap up the perimeter of the rim right here on this bead and down here on this bead. Alright, so that soap and water is not only going to help you get it on the rim, but it's also going to help it seat the bead when you air it up. Push these on. The top side should go on by hand. Should. Alright, these ones, oh, maybe close. Nope. So if you got a tire with a stiff enough sidewall, you should be able to push the first bead on by hand. These ones aren't the stiffest, so I'm going to have to use the levers to get these on. Alright, so you can see I got most of the way on by hand. Just got this little section right here I'm going to use the tire levers on. These are actually for dirt bikes, but they work for what we're doing. Get up underneath it, make sure you hook the other edge of the rim. Don't try to take too much of a big bite. That's it. Now, since I worked so slow, I'm going to soak this up again. And then we'll set the ring on it, put the bolts in it, air it up. I'm going to soak the back side. That's all dry already, so I'm going to soak this up again. Lay it back down, put the ring on it, put the bolts in it, torque them down, same thing, crisscross pattern, and then we'll air it up. So before you set your bead lock on, you want to make sure that your tire is sitting in the right spot on the rim. For example, there's a little lip that goes all the way around outside of where the bolts are. The tire needs to make sure that it sits down below that and not up on top of it like this. if you do that, you're gonna have some problems. You'll probably break bolts. You're definitely gonna leak. So we want to make sure that that's seated all the way around. And we'll set our ring on, line up some holes, throw some bolts in there, and like I said, we'll torque them down in a crisscross pattern till we've got all, I believe it's 18 of them tight, and then we'll air it up. Alright, so we run these all down by hand with the ratchet. I'm ready to do the final torque on them. Now if you look this up online, you're going to get anywhere from 12 foot-pounds to 21 or 22 foot-pounds. Ideally, you want to go about a half a turn before the bolt breaks. So for me, I'm going to run it about 15 pounds, 15 foot-pounds. So I got my torque wrench set to 15 foot-pounds. I'll go across, like I said, crisscross pattern all the way around until you get no more movement. These all look pretty good. So I'll finish this up and then I'll do it 3 more times. See you soon. Alright, so we soaped up the back side. I'm ready to air this thing up, seat the bead. I do not have the valve core in. Yes, I'm using a blow gun. I'm trying to get as much air into it as fast as I can. So these are pretty narrow tire on a 7-inch rim. It's going to take a little extra effort to get them to pop on there. So let's see what happens. There we go. This is the sketchy part. Come on. She wants to. One little itch. There it goes. Well, that was anticlimactic. Alright, so it's seated. It was scary, but it's seated. So now I'm going to put the valve core back in and get these on the car. Cool. There it is, 32s. Quite a bit difference in ride height, that's for sure. I'm really anxious to see how it handles now. I believe these cars were meant to have 32s. I don't think anyone would disagree. It's a much higher seat now. Alright folks, if you made it all the way through this video, thank you. I appreciate the support. After this trip next weekend at the Cinders, we'll get back and we'll start getting that new top secret piece of machinery set up. Show you what that's all about. But for now, thanks for watching. Keep the dirty side down.